Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck the Iceman Liddell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of CMA Podcast. I am here today with the one and only Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Chuck, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent, sir. It is great to see you. I don't know, you probably don't remember, but when you were back in Ireland in 2010, you came to one of our gyms in Ireland, the MMA clinic, and you did a seminar there for a couple of years, or for a couple of hours. I don't know, man. It's very hard to retain the information when someone like you comes along, because we're all just kind of like, is he looking? Did he see? Did I get the overhand right done correctly? So it was really cool, man. We went for dinner the night before. I think you had Heidi there. Your kids were there. It was really cool. It was a pleasure, man.
That was a great trip, man.
It was a good trip. Yeah. How are you doing, man? How's life?
Life is good, man. We're plugging along, getting through all this like everybody else, but yeah, we're doing good. Family's good.
Amazing. That's awesome, man. Because like the podcast that I'm doing, CMA podcast, it's in association with my gym, City Martial Arts in Lucerne in Switzerland. And basically our mentality is due to you, due to everything that you've taught us in MMA, in your interviews, in everything that you've said, because quite honestly, it's the Iceman approach. You put in the work, you got nothing to be nervous about. That's what we're doing right now. We're getting through the pandemic. We're still alive and kicking, and we've you to thank for that.
Well, thank you. That's awesome. I haven't been to Switzerland. That's one country I haven't been to that I want to go to. So maybe we'll have to come out and see you sometime.
Man, you were welcome here anytime, 100%. But yeah, I tell my guys all the time in the gym, these guys are, some of them are just killers. They just really want to get out there. They haven't even had their first fight yet. And sometimes the sparring sessions can get a little similar to the Tito TKO that you so beautifully have in your highlight reel. Everyone wants to land those punches and bunches, so everybody like huge fans of Chuck Liddell. When I it's such a pleasure to look back on your career and to be so accessible like right now, because I talked to Marcus Davis about this. I said, these guys, they're just one of the guys,
Well, yeah, I mean, nothing changes that. I mean, all bleed together and sweat together. Same thing. Get out there and fight. It's anyone that's out there fighting, training, I have respect for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like your whole career has just been a highlight reel for us. We look back on your career and it's just like, God damn, man. Like some of the new guys, I get it. The talkers, the guys on Twitter, trash talking. I understand it. I understand that it sells tickets. But, I'm coming from an era where it was 4 or 5 pay-per-views per year, and there was so much anticipation. And I remember my first MMA fight I ever saw, you versus Babalu in 2006.
Oh, that was a good one.
I just remember seeing I never knew what a head kick was. I never knew what an octagon was. My friend, American guy, was working with. He said, "Come check this out." I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
That's funny. It was. Obviously those are good fights. The Babu fights. He's a tough guy, man. It's funny. A funny story about that. Like when I did the Babu fight before the pre-fight interview, right? When they were doing his pre-fight interview, they showed him a little clip of my pre-fight interview. It's kind of common what people do nowadays with media and stuff. They wanted to rile him up, piss him off. So they played one little section of what I said. Because what I said was, sad thing is, he won 10 straight fights before I kicked him in the face. He won 10 straight fights after. And all everybody talks about is, and really what he's famous for is getting kicked in the face by me. Right? But they just played for him. Babu was just famous for getting kicked in the face by me. They showed him that little clip to piss him off. I thought, and me and him are friends now too. So, but like at the time, I was like, dude, like, it wasn't. He thought, oh, he's disrespecting me. Like, he went nuts. Like, he threw the chair. Like, he was so pissed off. I just started laughing. I'm like, dude, I'm not. That's not me. I don't talk trash like that. I have total respect for you. But it was funny. Like is that like the thing the media does nowadays a lot? They play that one. You see. I always tell people, like, if you see if any fight I've been in growing up, if you see the last 10, 15 seconds of it, I might look like an asshole, but if you saw the 20 minutes before that, you're gonna go, man, his mom probably thought, why'd you wait so long? She's still, because if I hit you, even back in the day, if I hit you, your mom's gonna ask you why I waited so long. That's how big an asshole you are.
Yeah, I mean, and I say this to the guys, especially my younger guys. I've got like guys in their teens, early 20s, and I use the Mike Tyson quote. These guys nowadays are businessmen, and back in the day, these guys wanted to end your life, like killers. And
and I like I said, it's funny. Like same thing with Conor McGregor when he was first blowing up. I said in an interview, I don't like the way he trash talks. Right? And I got a bunch of hate stuff from his fans. And I'm like, you obviously didn't read the rest of the article, because that was just the top, what it said, that was what they pulled out, the quote they pulled out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you didn't read the rest of the article, right? I said he's one of the top 5 fighters I like to watch. Right? I think he's a great fight. I don't agree with the way he trash talks, but I get it. I understand it. He's the guy that gets people to watch the fights that don't watch fights. He's one of those guys, few guys that can get past it's not the regular fans. The regular hardcore fans you always have if you're a good fighter. Then you got the kind of occasional fan that watch sometimes, and then he's got those. But it's the guys that get paid well, the guys that can get the people that don't usually watch fights or make and even better than that, the guys that make it an event. Like even Ronda Rousey started at that one time with making it an event. That fight was an event, not just people that even don't watch fights watched it. That's when they make big money, and I get it, but I mean some of this stuff though, I some of these guys cross lines. I'm not going to jump a fence and kick your ass, but you talk some of that stuff to me back in the day. I'll wait till we get in the back room, and I'll lock you in the back in the locker room, lock you in the room back there, and we'll find out real quick what's going on.
Absolutely.
I think Tito said one time back in my career, he said, I don't date white trash bitches like Chuck on a radio interview in San Diego. My buddies called me up from there and told me. I'm like, really? So, and everyone knew that I went and watched him, and he wasn't even fighting. He was fighting Vitor Belfort. And I went to the fight. He won the fight. After the fight, we were after party. Someone came up to me, and the promoter came up to me, who was a friend of mine, John Honey, came up to me, and he's like, hey, can you squash this thing with Tito? Your guys are going to get mad. His guys are getting mad. Can you squash this? I said, sure, bring him up. Came up. I said, first off, this is my girlfriend. Apologize. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean you. And I'll say that in a second. But I didn't mean you. I wasn't talking about you. I'm sorry. And I was like, okay, secondly, if you ever talk about my friends or family in a radio interview again, I swear to God, I know where you live, and I'll come beat you in your living room. You got that? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It wasn't her I was talking about. He was, it was funny. The funniest part about it was for me. He was talking about Juliette Lewis because Us Magazine had said or something that me and her were dating or something. I mean, we never did. I met her. She's really nice, but never dated. They said we were dating, and I'm like, bro, she plays white trash girls. She is not one. Come on. Like she played some, and she played a few in the movies. Like that's what she does. She's an actress.
Oh,
it was fun. I mean, but I just don't like some of the stuff. Like guys, I don't.
But the media spin on all of that. I mean, everybody nowadays talks about the media spinning. Like, does that not infuriate you? Because I hear things about me and I'm like, that's not true, and I address it. But when it's in the media and you got to address millions of people, that's insane.
Well, my thing with that, yeah, it is what it is. But like, I guess I really don't care. Like, to some extent, my thing is, I always say, like, I was actually talking to a friend of mine who was a comedian. And I'm like, he was like upset about somebody that was saying something about him on Twitter or something. I looked at him like, do you know him? No. Do you know who he is? No. Does he know you? No. Then why do you care what he thinks? Again, like what?
Amazing.
There's some guy that you don't know, doesn't know you, you don't respect, that's not like someone in your field. You have no idea who it is. Why do you care? Why are you wasting energy on that? I've had people say all sorts of things, and every once in a while I come on my Twitter back in the day, I go on there, make a comment. I repost what they said, and, some nasty comment, and I'll make some funny comment with it. And my fans back in the day would just destroy them. And they said some of the funniest stuff. I was like, it was entertaining for me. And people, don't even waste your time sending them messages, that. I'm like, I'm just having fun. Trust me, I didn't lose any sleep over whatever they said.
Yeah, that's awesome. But again, that's the Iceman mentality, right? Just cold.
Yeah, it just isn't worth it. I've probably had two that is enough where I'm like, okay, where you at?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me where you're at. I'll show up right now. Where you at?
That's the old school thing that we're missing these days, man.
Where you at? Show me. Give me an address. I'll show up.
Yeah, I love it. But so for our gym, we left our building. So we got very lucky. We had noise complaints, and we used that noise complaint basically to say, hey, when COVID is over, we're going to be doing more classes, longer classes, kids classes. It's going to be loud. It's going to be louder. So we actually got out of the place where we were in, and now we're doing classes outside. So it's kind of unique for us to be sparring in a public area and just having everybody show up with their pictures out. And sometimes sparring can get a little heated. I'm sure you've had that experience, right?
Well, yeah. And when there's a crowd, there's always that too.
Yeah.
I think a big thing for us was always controlling the sparring. For me, it depended. Sometimes you get two the fight team guys, they get a little hot, heated every once in a while. Okay, guys, take it easy. We'll just spar. All right, man. You guys want to go? Go. All right, have at it, bro. Go. All right, no, we can't do that every day, please. This is not okay. Relax now. But I also had the problem with I had guys come in. Guys come in like, hey man, take it easy. The guy's a new guy. Hey, take it easy. He's a new guy. Another time, hey, hold on a second. Time out. See me come in and put my jeans and my shirt, putting on my gloves, walking in the ring. All right, man. I'm gonna finish the round for him.
Let's
go in there and start hammering. I hammer the guy in the body. And just, I'm like, hey, is this helping you? Is this anything good for you? Don't do it to him. You're in here with a very underskilled guy. Don't pick on him.
Amazing.
But I think in a lot of gyms that you got to control that sometimes. But if they're both fighters, and sometimes you got to let them go.
Yeah, for real.
We're fighters. That's what we do. And sometimes we went at it. Me and Leidy, me and Glover Texera, who's going to be fighting soon. We used to get after it sometimes. And this guy Scott Leidy was a good friend of mine, good guy, K1 guy. We get in there, bang, bang sometimes. You go at it. And John be, all right, every guy, get out of the ring. Enough. Well, had enough. Get out. Take a break.
Amazing. Because it's we have a kind of a free for all now because we're outside and there's people passing and the phones get up there. But I've heard legendary stories about you in the gym, and I watched The Fighter and the Kid, and Brendan Schaub talks about the whole gym just stopping and watching him and Shane Carwin go at it. So it's when it's controlled in a gym and there's not too many eyes around, that's fine. But we're outside, so it's a little strange. It's a little chaotic, but we're trying to manage it as best we can. But the question I was getting to is, would you nowadays not train, if you were fighting and COVID happening and the UFC putting on fights with no crowd, would you consider sitting it out, or would you fight with no crowd? Would that even interest you?
Oh, I'll fight without a crowd. I'm fighting. I'm trying to prove I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the crowd. I actually figured I really enjoyed it more than I thought I did. But I enjoyed the crowd. But I'll fight you just to see if I've been doing that since I was a kid. I'm going to different karate gyms, all the guys challenging gyms, or like guys trying to. I remember one. We went to. They were sparring in I don't know. It's almost like a small performance thing.
Mm-hmm.
For like a whole little show place. like the way they do little plays or whatever. And we're sparring there, and I tell him, hey man, take it easy. Hey man, take it easy. We're just sparring. He's trying to kick my head off, trying to swing weapons. I said, okay, all right, bang. I mean, he woke up on a stretcher. They brought in the fireman. I mean, he was out.
Amazing.
Out. But wow. I mean, we've been that since I was young and going to 18, 19-year-old, going to 20, going to different gyms and outside sparring, training. I was always nice. I give you a warning, like, hey man, stop trying to take my head off. We're sparring, we're just working. Okay. But,
yeah, that's it. That's cool, man. And what type of training are you doing now? Are you in the gym? Are you sparring? Are you hitting pads? Are you staying active?
I still train. I don't get to train as much right now because everything's where I'm at. It's kind of further from me. I got my family, but I got bags in my garage. That's my favorite way to work out. Still, can't burn more calories doing anything else that I enjoy. Even just hitting the bags and moving around, and I still try to wrestle. I still need to spar and I still need to wrestle. Like I do jiu-jitsu. For me, it's one of those things where it's the only time I can really shut down and just think about what I'm doing. I don't have 20 million things going on in my head,
Yeah.
I'm only so busy and doing other things, So I'm going, when I spar or when I wrestle, I'm just concentrating on what the other guy's doing, what I'm doing. How do I set him up? How am I going to get this? What's he trying to do? What am I trying to do? So I think I'll always do that. I just need to. It's just one of those things.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. This is what I was missing for the last year and a half, just not able to go to the gym and spar with my friends. The gym was all shut down, not able to talk about last week's fights, next week's fights. So I started a goddamn podcast so I can just talk and get it out,
Of all things I miss from fighting, I think I miss the most would become camaraderie and just being there in the gym every day. Being there with all the guys and goofing off, and that part of it was always fun for me. Like, I always enjoyed. I used to always say I took off. I'd take off for a couple months after a fight, but I never really took off. I was always back in the gym the next week. I'd take off a week and have a lot of fun. But then when we got back, Glover was fighting, Liddell was fighting. There's friends I had that were fighting coming up. So now I call it taking time off, but taking time off meant we were working on someone else, not me. I just wasn't the focus. I wasn't the focus of the training camp. That's time off. That was my off time.
That's it. Because like for me, when I met you in 2010, when you were in the gym, I just broken up with my girlfriend. I had all this time to just spare in the evenings. So that's when I really started to pick up MMA and, training constantly and falling in love with the whole fighting aspect of it all. Even when I was injured, I was just up in the gym. Like if I had an injured shoulder, I'd be just throwing the jab, and it was that camaraderie that just sold it to me. It was just, I had so much fun with the guys, getting to know the guys, what's the word I'm looking for? Just things in common with all of these guys, finding a sense of self in MMA, learning that these guys are killers, but they're actually quite sensitive and really, really fun to be around. And then
it's like-minded people too, for the most part. It's not. We all have kind of a screw loose, so it's we fit it. We get along well.
Absolutely, and I learned that through many years of just training hard and sparring and like the mentality that you taught me without even probably knowing it. The Iceman mentality. Like my last fight was in 2016. And I'd done everything possible to win the fight. I lost the fight, but I just knew that I'd done everything I possibly could. And I can walk away with my hand or my head held high, just knowing that I knew I put in the work and I could do no more. And that's it. That's
all anyone can ask of you.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask of yourself. And that's all anyone can ask you is to do what you are able to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I've you to thank for that, my man. I really appreciate everything you've done for the MMA community. You're a UFC Hall of Famer. People nowadays who are just starting need to go back in the day when it all began and see people like you just paving the way. So Very, very appreciative, man.
Well, thank you very much, man. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I still get to enjoy it now. So thank you.
Amazing, man. I reached out. You answered the call. You said, let's do it. I'm so happy I got you on this podcast, man. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you very much again. I'm happy I didn't fanboy out on this podcast.
No problem.
Awesome, Chuck. Thank you. You take care of yourself, my man. I appreciate it.
Easy,
Take care. Nice one. Excellent. So that was Chuck Liddell, man. This is a crazy journey for me. I'm finding myself reaching out to these superstars, expecting to have to go through agents and managers and email this and phone that. And all of a sudden I just sent Chuck a message through the various different social media platforms. He got back to me right away. Sure, let's do it. And voila, we have a podcast. Great guy. I met Chuck back in 2010. He came to our gym. Really cool guy. And, you know, I said to him before we started, if I fanboy out, please call me on it. He said, I won't, but your friends probably will. So I'm sure you can see how I fanboyed out in that podcast. It was really cool to talk to him before recording and after recording. A great guy, pioneer of the sport, an absolute legend, UFC Hall of Famer. And I just reach out and he's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. You know, I reached out to quite a few people, and, you know, you're hit with these demands and price listings and stuff. It's just like, I just want to have a quick chat with you, man. Nothing crazy. And, you know, the big superstars like Chuck Liddell, just answer the call. I send out the bat signal and boom, there he is. Amazing. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. I appreciate that. I'll try and get more fighters on. Who's your favorite fighter? Let me know in the comments. I'll try and reach out. Let's see. The sky's the limit. There are no limitations here. Even though I just said the sky's the limit. There are no limitations here. I got to work on my words. I apologize. I wish you guys a very pleasant weekend, week, month, year, whatever you're doing. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, that was pretty cool for me, man. That was a fun one. So yeah, rock and roll.